story is told of an ancient monarch who had absolute control over his people, except for one thing: the worship that they would give to their ancient god, this statuette. The king wanted to hide the god somewhere where people would never find it. He called in 3 of his advisors and said, "Where should I put it?" And the first said, "Put it on the highest mountain, and the people won't find it." And the king said, "No, they would just climb the mountain until they discovered it." The second advisor said, "I know, throw it into the depths of the sea, and they won't find it." And the king said, "No, if I threw it in the water, they would just dive until they found it." The third and wisest advisor said, "I know, O king, you should put it in the midst of the people, and they will never search for it there." We have just completed the celebration of not a statue being in our midst, but Jesus Christ, born of the flesh, one of us, and yet God. He is Emmanuel. We celebrated the feast of Christmas itself, and the last 2 Sundays really are commentaries on the meaning of the feast. We had the Holy Family, and last week the Epiphany, the Magi from the East, indicating that Jesus was open to all, not simply the Jewish people. And today we have another Epiphany, an unveiling, a revealing of who this Jesus is at the feast of his baptism. So we move very quickly to the inauguration, really, of the ministry, the public ministry of Jesus. And next week, I hope, all these decorations will be gone, and we mark the beginning of a new season in ordinary time, where we will hear the basic teachings of the Lord. The challenge today is for you and me to see in our own baptism, as Jesus saw in his, an inauguration, a beginning, a call to minister, a call to be more sensitive to the presence of Emmanuel, the presence of God with us in the scripture that we hear, in the Eucharist and other sacraments that we celebrate, and in our brother and sister. The proclamation of Christ's presence can't be limited to holiday greetings of peace and love and joy. The proclamation must also be a real commitment on the part of us who believe that Christ is present in each one. Our commitment needs to be to justice in the way that we live, in the way that we are governed, in the way that we treat each other on various levels of society. The Christian community must be concerned with the dignity and human rights of every person, because that person is the presence of Christ. On this feast of the baptism of the Lord, the ending of the Christmas season, we, the baptized, are invited to look at ourselves and ask ourselves, how can we make the presence of the Lord, hidden in our midst, known and loved by all?